welcome to the 102nd episode of Retrotopia. My name is Brian, and I'm going to be your host for this week's show. And this week we're playing a game that blends a little bit of SimCity with a tiny bit of real-time strategy. It is the PC Super Nintendo game called Metal Marines. Now, if you're just here for the game chat, head about 25 minutes down the road and you should find it, but I really hope you stay because we really do like to have fun with these intros. Before we begin everything, we do have to get the plugs out of the way, or at least I do have to get the plugs out of the way. So if you could rate this show 5 stars and leave a comment wherever you get your podcasts, that would really help us grow, and we'd be really appreciative. Also, if you want to join us or follow us on social media, we do have it all linked at linktree/Retrotopia. That's linktr.ee/Retrotopia. If you want to sport some sweet-ass Retrotopia merchandise, you can do so by going to retrotopia.dashery.com. There's a link in the description of this podcast. That is our merch store. Check it out. Get some really cool stuff. All the kids on the schoolyard will be jealous. As well, we do have a Patreon, and it is free to join. And when you join for free, you do get to take part in the polls. You do get to chat with the host. You get to write in about the game of the week, write to the host in the 9-bit banter box. Get our other shows, Quick Play, which is a short review series, and Retro Bite, which is you get 15 days early, and we do an exclusive Patreon topic. And now it features more Joe. I'm going to let that one hang. You can also join the Hero tier and get all that, as well as you can select a game for the host review on Quick Play, the Patreon Hero tier exclusive New Game Plus, and you get a shout out like our newest Patreons, Zane Donovan, JVDZ, and Brian Spreitzer. Thank you guys for joining. Your support means the world to us, and we hope we deliver what you expect for your money. Now, with all the plugs out of the way, it is time to give you, the audience, a chance to write into the host, which is me this week, on what we call the 9-bit banter box, because it's culturally elegant. Our first write-in comes from The Big Deal, who says, Father to Father, what is the most annoying song you've had to listen to for your kids? And is it worse than That's Just My Baby Doge 32 times in a row? Probably not. Probably that is the embodiment of living parental hell. I would say mine is not music. My kid never really got into repetitive music, but he did get into a little TV show called Paw Patrol, and he fell into it hard, like most kids did back in that day. And I don't know if it's still that popular, but thank God he broke the hat. And it got so bad, I remember we watched it so many times, it was getting like frustratingly annoying that, you know, we could almost quote the lines verbatim. And we went to visit family, and Netflix dropped a new season of Paw Patrol. And me and my wife, we just like, oh my God, finally a new season. And we grabbed my kid and we stuck him in front of the TV to show him this new season of Paw Patrol. And it wasn't until about 5 or 6 episodes in that we looked around and realized my kid had wandered off to go spend time elsewhere, that we knew that we had a problem, that we actually liked Paw Patrol to the point that we've watched it so much that the new season was refreshing. So that was my parental hell. As for repetitive, Across the Spider-Verse, my kid got obsessed with that in his early age. He watched it probably 3 times in a row per day. And that was what was on TV for the most part. And, you know, when you're a parent there, you finally get that moment, your kid goes to bed and you're like, yeah, it's gaming time. Well, no, you're just so tired of watching the same stuff over and over. You want to turn screens off. And that was our living hell. But, you'll get through the Baby Dodge song there. So good luck, The Big Deal. Good luck. Next up, we have Avendali, who brings a good first comment to me and says, Brian, as a Canadian, what are your feelings on ketchup chips? I love them now, and as a kid growing up, I had them for the first time in Edmonton, and instantly I couldn't get enough of them. I grew up 20 minutes from the Canadian border near Saskatchewan, so once I knew they existed, anytime we'd go to Canada, I'd pick up as much as I was allowed to bring back over the border. I love the pre-passport days with Canadian friends. That strong ketchup flavor was the best snack when gaming alone or with friends, and still is. Excellent. I'm glad you love ketchup chips. I'm going to first say that I do miss the days when we could go across the border, just do day trips, you know, down into the, I live in Ontario, so it was more New York that we would go into. I still remember me and a buddy booking down to Rochester because he wanted to get a Harvey Danger album with the bonus album, the King James version. The bonus album was only at Circuit City, so we booked it over the border for a day trip, and it's still one of my best memories. Also, back then, our dollar wasn't so low compared to the US dollar, so we actually still kind of got a discount. Like, we'd definitely pay a little bit more, but your prices were lower than ours, so it kind of worked itself out. So it was always great to do a day trip down there. And back then, the people were a lot nicer. Maybe I was just dumber. But everybody down there was always nice, and I just don't get that same feeling these days. And the passing the border with no passport was literally the closest our two countries have gotten to cooperative utopia. I do remember when I left Manitoba, though, which is in the middle of Canada, just above North Dakota. We had something called an enhanced license because we were so close to the border. We were able to get this license that would allow us to cross without a passport, but I don't know if they still do that these days. I know things have been changing, so that also was a kind of a nice thing. The license cost a little bit more money per year, but I mean, you're able to cross the border with no hassle, so that was great. Now onto your ketchup chip comment. Well, ketchup chips are the shit. They're 1A, 1B with all dress. And they are the staples. Those two bags of chips are the staples at any sleepover I had when I was a kid, because we're gaming, we're eating chips, we have pizza, we have pop, nothing healthy is going on that night. And those were the best chips. Somebody would try to sneak in some barbecue chips there, and it's just like, no, it's either ketchup, salt and vinegar, or all dressed. You want that, you want the chip to fight back. That's why you get these like vinegary type chips. But yeah, I'm glad you come over to Canada all the time, and remember, if you buy a bigger vehicle, you can get more bags of chips in there. Next up, we have Fill Up My Mouth with Farts. Says, hi buddy, I was just wondering your thoughts on this. Are we spoiled and possibly a little entitled as gamers today? I mean, when I was a kid gaming in the late 80s and early 90s, we would get 1 or 2, maybe 3 games if you're lucky a year. And that was your game to play for the year unless you rented something. Now I can go to PS Plus and see hundreds of free games, and then I get mad when nothing appeals to me. Do you think the current access to games that we have is a good thing, or the fact that we don't have or don't see anything good shows us being spoiled? This question required me to think. So first off, I love the question. I always love questions like this because I'm not an expert, but I do like to philosophicalize whilst I have a microphone in front of me. But people have said we are in the golden era of gaming. I've heard that a couple of times over the last couple of years, and I don't believe it. I think the golden era of gaming was the Super Nintendo, Sega era of the 90s, ending with the PlayStation. I think when Sega went out of the market, that might have been the end of the golden era, in my opinion. Because back then, we only had a few games, and we all had a lot of quality games, and we fought over the games we loved and these consoles we loved, but nobody gatekept the consoles. Like, it's like, oh, you're a Sega kid? It's great, I play Super Nintendo. Come over to my house, we'll play Super Nintendo today. Next time, we'll go to your house and play Sega, and everybody was happy. Again, the 90s are better than today. I will die on that hill. It was great. I also grew up in the 80s and 90s. I started on the Atari 2600, and yeah, we didn't have a lot of games. We played the same games over and over and over, and we got good at them. And it was just great. I don't know how to explain it, but when you get a new game under the Christmas tree there, you unwrap and you're like, holy crap, I finally have a new game, and then you play the fuck out of it for 365 days. And you don't get bored with it. You know, you don't sit there and like flip through your 10, 15 Nintendo games you've amassed over the years and go, there's nothing to play. No, it's just, what do I feel like playing more? That was the great time. And then the rental stores filled in those gaps where maybe you were a little bit underwhelmed by your collection, or a new game came out that you couldn't get until Christmas. So you're in the rental store, and there was nothing like walking into the rental store and seeing that game you wanted, and walking up and pulling the game box off, and there's that beautiful plastic case with a cartridge in it behind it, and you're the one to get to rent it for the weekend. I miss stores. even though they're a bit of a hassle because you did have to return stuff like a library-esque type situation, it was still just those moments that you picked up that box and you saw the copy of the game there ready for you to go. Also, when the rental store back in my hometown when I was young was going under, they would sell you video games that hadn't been rented for 2 weeks. And I got a copy of Chrono Trigger back when it was $150 on eBay for $10, box and booklet and everything. Of course, I ended up selling that later because I'm an idiot, but still a great memory. I actually didn't have a Super Nintendo at the time. I bought that and then went to a pawn shop and bought a Super Nintendo. Different story for a different day. Going into today, so I think like our options, yeah, we're overwhelmed. We are overwhelmed with the amount of options we have for video games nowadays. And the problem is when you have too much of something to play or too much of something to watch, as is the case with streaming services, you find it harder to find something to watch. And this is anecdotal to my life because I have sat there and scrolled through my entire movie collection and just found nothing. Nothing appealed to me, and it's happened with me on PlayStation Plus. And currently I'm going through a lull in Xbox Game Pass. I can't find anything on that I really want to play. My Xbox has sat unstarted or unturned on for probably about 2 to 3 months now. If my wife wasn't playing Game Pass, I probably would have got rid of it. Other than that, I've started employing a new technique, like because I was overwhelmed, because I have a stack of old games and stuff like that that's not show related that I want to get to. So I started a spreadsheet and I put all the games in there. Then I copy and pasted them into a randomizer, the same one I use for Retrotopia, the old wheel of names. And I made it produce me a list. And I took that list, pasted it back into the Excel sheet, and now that's the order I'm playing these games in. Right now I'm on Dragon Quest 3. That's what I've started at. But that seems to focus me. As for everything else, if I'm just in that mood to play something new, I will find something. Like recently I started a game called Harold Halibut. It's an indie game and you're just play this guy Harold it's really graphically, it's really neat. It's like claymation. Like almost spot on claymation, but it's just very slow. It's very deliberate, and I just couldn't get into it in the 2 to 3 hours I give games nowadays to hook me. And I just decided to delete it and move on because, you know what, it's the only way you can do it nowadays. Either you get hooked, you like it enough to play it, or you just gotta dump it and say, I tried, it's not my thing. So hopefully that answers your question. I know it kind of went off on a tangent. My eyes rolled in the back of my head and I think I went into a trance. But yeah, we are currently overwhelmed, and I miss the days where you were limited on what you could play because it really focused what you would play. That's why I play Chrono Trigger so well. Next up, we have Radioactive Hooli, who says, Hi Brian, if you can go live in any anime universe, which would it be and why? Would you tag along and be one of the main crew, or just live in that world as a background character? I looked at some anime worlds here because not really my jam is the anime lifestyle, but I just, a lot of them, like, you're going into a world that's obviously got a bunch of problems. I mean, I'm not jumping into the Attack on Titan world because that is almost certain death. I mean, I'm not going to spoil the end of it, but you know, it's almost certain death to go to Paradise Island or whatever it's called. Yeah, look at isekais are terrible because somebody shows up with godlike powers, and that would be, well, yay, somebody's with godlike powers going around screwing with like everything, so they seem chill, but no. And then there's the shonen worlds like Naruto or Fairy Tail or stuff like that, and yeah, too fantastical. But I did actually look something up online, and I would pick any world created by Hayao Miyazaki. Why can't I pronounce that? The Howl's Moving Castle creator. Because those worlds always seem tranquil. And I would just be a background character. I'm just happy walking around watching the eggs cook because it is such a blissful world. There's your answer. I'm going to Howl's Moving Castle's world. Or Spirited Away. I'm not sure which yet. Next up, we have Blue Yoshi 94, who says, Brian, if you had a retractable leg like R2-D2, what would you use it for? I would use it to lean at the bus stop while waiting for my bus that is regularly 15 minutes later than it's supposed to be. That'd probably save my back a lot. Other than that, something for the ladies, or maybe in the men's locker room there, I'd just show the third leg to make all the men jealous. You never know. But I actually had to pick something from R2-D2. I would rather have his computer sex probe. That way I could really get in touch with my PC sensitive side. Thanks for the question, and...
Oh, electronic mail.
Finally, we have Brother Retro, who says, Hey B-Man, did Canadians also hop on the Homestar Runner train back in the day? Did you? I'm still a diehard strong baddie, and what say you? I used to watch Homestar Runner relate. I loved Homestar Runner. Everything about it was just what I needed at the time. Trogdor still lives today as an iconic character created out of Strong Bad's mind. And of course, there's recently they released a video of them promoting their website on YouTube. It's about 5 months old now, but I was very hopeful that he was coming back to start doing the email again, because that video, I don't feel like they've lost anything from when they ended. Speaking of the email section, that was my favorite part. Strong Bad was the king of the early 2000 media, and when he did emails, it was just so great. Everything about that show is great. So yes, I did watch Homestar Runner. Canadians did watch it because, believe it or not, we are very tied into your culture when it comes to media and stuff like that. So good chance if you've seen it, we've seen it. Thanks, Brother Retro, for the comment. I'm probably about to do a deep dive into Homestar Runner media now. Thank you very much for that. And I love you, actually, because I haven't seen that or thought about that in quite a while. So yeah, I'm about to do a little bit of Trogdor.
Trogdor! Trogdor!
So that's it for the 9-Bit Banter Box. Thank you, everyone, for writing in. I always love doing these. These are always great. And it gives me a chance to kind of think on my feet. So keep writing in. We all love it. And we also love this because we're moving into our Retrotopia game show that has taken the world by storm. It's Choose One, Lose One.
Ladies and gentlemen, roll up and choose your power-up from the game of the week. You pick a power, we pick a consequence. It's Choose One, Lose One, the game where everyone's a loser.
It's Choose One, Lose One, a Retrotopia game. Let's start with Guy Who Does Things. He says, I want the decoy bases as they exist in the game. I'm sick and tired of my enemies, you know who you are, Brian, blowing up my bases with missile barrages. Well, buddy, you get the decoy bases, aka your home, and you get a lot of them. But you forget which one is the real one. You can never find your way back to your family, but don't worry. They eventually move on, leaving you to search for a place you can never return to. Next up, we have Avendali. I want the ability to build unlimited energy plants because as I am 40 years old and a father of 2, I need all the energy I can get. As a 40-year-old, I feel this comment. But that's not the name of the game. You get your energy plants, but they give off too much energy and you have to run constantly, non-stop, to bleed off the extra energy lest you explode, taking out half the country with you. And your precious ketchup chips. Next, we have Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious, who says, I would like to meet Commander Joan Ryle in real life. Granted, you get to meet Commander now retired Joan Ryle, but she's 37 years older and hasn't aged well. All that anger has kind of turned her into a husk of a woman you once knew and you once saw in that game. But you are still forced to marry her and take care of her in her dying incontinent years. I don't know if that's your kink, so maybe that's a positive for you. That's between you and Joan, your wife. Next up, we have Radioactive Hooli, who says, I want the ability to control and create stuff in a town from a bird's eye view. Thinking of the wrong game, Hooli. This is Mental Marines, not Sim City. But you know what? Your wish is granted. You float up above your town and you see everything from a bird's eye view. And as another bonus, you are granted immortality so you don't just float away and die. There you go. That's your gift. Now you can build anything you want just by looking at it, but you can also destroy anything. This is SimCity in real life. But you can never come down, and you live high above the people forever, for all of eternity. You're like a god, and like many gods, you're forgotten over time to live this isolated hell for eternity as you float above the town. Also, people still expect you to keep upgrading the town, even though they've forgotten about it. So, get to work. Blue Yoshi 94 says the ability to launch missiles. Well granted, good sir. You can now shoot missiles from your no-no spot. But you must launch one missile a day, otherwise you shall we say, explode in your pants. The missiles are also nuclear, so aim wisely. Don't miss the bowl. The Big Deal says, I have no bloody clue what this game is, so I'll ask for the ability to create the Cyborg Coast Guard and the Android Air Force in real life. You do get to create your military of Coast Guards and Air Force bots and planes, but it's the Canadian Coast Guard and Canadian Air Force, so they are wildly underfunded and lacking in the latest technology, so they just sit there useless. And finally, we have Brother Retro, who says, I want the power to enjoy tactical games, so I actually play these darn things without rage quitting out of boredom. Granted, because Final Fantasy Tactics was just released. Even though it's not a real-time strategy, it's still a tactical game, and you're going to love it. Now you do love it. As a result of your new love for tactical games, you also become that guy who's obsessed with them, and that's the only thing you ever talk about. Ever. Now, everyone avoids you because you are the tactical video game guy who just makes conversations awkward because no matter what it is, you steer it towards tactical games, thusly ruining any relationship you ever had. All right, that's everything for Choose One, Lose One. Thank you, everybody, for writing in. I took some time to make those as entertaining as possible. So hopefully you're upset with what I did to you, because that is kind of the name of the game. Now, before we get into the final part of the intro, which is leading into the game, we do have this moment where we let Alan take over the mic and give us the gentleman's interlude.
Troops, stand tall and listen closely. Today I speak not just to soldiers, but to commanders, to visionaries, to warriors of the future. We face a world torn apart by antimatter war. The old governments are ashes, the Earth's surface a scarred battlefield. From the rubble, tyranny rises. The Zorgoof regime seeks to rule with fear, to crush hope beneath their iron heel. But we will not be broken. We have the firepower, we have the courage, and most importantly, we have the will to fight. Metal Marines, developed by the bold minds at Namco, launched in 1993 in Japan and 1994 in North America for the Super Nintendo Entertainment System, is more than a game. It's a call to arms, a challenge to lead, a test of spirit. You are the commander of the Allied nations, entrusted with the most powerful weapon left to humanity. Towering mechanized warriors known as Metal Marines. These are not mere machines, they are symbols of our resistance, emblems of strength, carriers of hope. Each mission you face is a trial, a battle of mind and might. You will build your bases from the ground up. You will launch missiles into the heart of tyranny. You will send your Metal Marines across land and sea to face down fortified enemies, and you will not falter. Enemies will try to deceive you with decoys, overwhelm you with missiles, and sabotage your efforts. But you, Commander, will rise above them. You will strike with precision, defend with resolve, and adapt with brilliance. You hold the fate of free nations in your hands. Remember this: strategy wins wars, but heart wins peace. So rally your courage, ready your forces, and when the enemy hears the thunder of Metal Marines at their gates, let them know freedom fights back. Now go, Commander. Make History dismissed.
Once again, thank you very much, Alan, for giving us that gentleman's interlude. The work you do on that is absolutely fantastic. But let's get into a few comments because it's your turn to talk about Metal Marines before we get into the game conversation itself. So first up, we have Blue Yoshi 94, who says, Platinum Paratrooper, Silver Strikers, Tin Terrors, what is this game? Great question. We'll get into that. Brother Retro says, this game actually has me a bit intrigued. I love the SNES, I love the RTS, but not a fan of tactical. I might have to check out this one depending on how my Retrotopia boys rate it. Yeah. All right, finally we have Guy Who Does Things says, I hope one of your comments on the sheer terror you feel when you're trying to build up your defenses only to hear that air raid siren starting to blare. We do get into that, and we're going to get into that right now. So with a little bit of this music from this old Super Nintendo game, we are going to be talking today Metal Marines, developed by Namco, as well as Mindscape, published by Namco, as well as Mindscape in Europe, released on December 1993 for the Super Nintendo Entertainment System and personal computers. Thank you for listening, and we hope you enjoy the show. It's time for Metal Marines, the Super Nintendo game that makes SimCity look like a bunch of cucks. Joining me, of course, on this 102nd episode of Retrotopia is my good buddy from the UK, Alan, and my bestie, like the resty, from Wisconsin, Samuel. How are you, boys?
I'm going to glaze over the fact that Sam's your bestie because I was not expecting a cuck right out of the fucking gate there. Like, you want to talk about taking me by surprise, you know, that was it. Yeah, so SimCity looks like a cuck. It's sitting in the cuck chair. Yeah.
Well, tell me this game does not remind you of SimCity for the Super Nintendo.
It does,
only
a little bit.
But with like missiles.
I mean, in my limited knowledge of SimCity, because I've not really played it, I guess you build stuff.
Well, you simulate a city.
If SimCity was the cuck in this scenario, it was sitting and watching this game fuck me. That's what it was doing. God.
Why are you just sitting there? Help!
I was going to say, because, you know, in SimCity, as is my understanding, you can actually successfully build shit in that game, whereas in this one...
Yeah, no fucking kidding.
the second you you so much as put up a cardboard box, you get fucking carpet bombed.
All right, let's get into this with the history first. Now, I am assuming none of us have a history with this game. I sure as hell don't.
No.
Until you mentioned it, I had never heard of this game before in my life.
Yeah.
And I'm interested to find out exactly, like, how did this cross the Retrotopia desk?
Okay.
Yeah, hasn't this been,
So
this
back
been on
when
the
we
list
started,
a while,
yeah.
hasn't it?
Yeah, my buddy, he wrote this into our suggestion channel way back at the onset of the show, and we've been finally picking away at those. And I figured it was time to get into this one because we needed a game that was supposed to fit into the 101 to 110 block, and this was perfect.
All right.
And yeah,
Was it?
Good enough.
Who
Works for me.
suggested this? I'm gonna find you.
From my understanding though, is he really likes this game, so he is about to be somewhat disappointed.
I'll be gentle.
Sam, it's all well and good.
All right.
It's all well and good threatening to find someone, but you know the way that this game goes, they're probably going to fucking find you first.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I'll be dead.
Alan, how about you give us kind of a synopsis of the game, since you're the only one here to actually have beaten it in our time limit?
Well, as best as I can tell, a synopsis. What you want, story, or just want how the game plays? Because I could probably do both, but
Do the story. Like we'll talk about the gameplay here in a minute.
so from what I can remember of this game, you basically play a, I guess, ragtag group of, I guess, rebels from the Earth colonies, basically. So Earth has been more or less taken over and suppressed by an evil empire, as is tradition, and you gather up I guess, the remnants of the outer space Earth colonies. I can't remember what they're called, but basically you're launching...
SCAF.
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 Alrighty.
The Space Colonies Allied Forces.
Well, there you go. Thank you, Brian. And yeah, basically you're tasked with beating back the Empire and freeing Earth from under their imperialistic control and the boot on the throat and all of that good stuff over a series of 20 or so different missions, each one more fun than the last. And yeah, in order to do that, it's a tactical, a tactical real-time strategy. That's what I'm looking for. That's the phrase. Yeah, that's basically in a nutshell what the game's all about.
Yeah, no, I couldn't have said it better, but it's not what the game is all about, because there is so much that Sam loves about this game, and let's get into the first part where it's going to be talking a little bit about that sweet thing that we've been alluding to, the inability to perform tasks because by the time that you get set up, you're being attacked. So, Sam, it kind of explain how the attack and getting attacked works for us.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about the similarities to SimCity, and that's kind of what it's like when you're setting up your base. It's on kind of an isometric grid, and you know there's different terrain, and obviously you're on an island with different shape. And no matter where you are, you're on some sort of island. So that was something that I didn't notice until now. It's like, you know, like we're moving the fight to Edmonton, and it's like there's an island there. There's always water.
I noticed that, yeah. It's just like Edmonton's like right smack in the middle of Canada, and yeah, you're on this little island. Like, are you in some magical lake that doesn't exist?
Right. So
Absolutely.
no matter where you are, you're always set up on two opposing islands facing off, which kind of makes the story not really relevant or inconsequential. Like, you didn't really need a story for this game. It's just a series of scenarios where you're parked on opposite islands. It kind of makes it into think of SimCity meets Battleship. So you basically you're on an island. You've got your base. You can I guess as time passes, you earn money that you can use to upgrade units or buy new buildings, either defenses or there's radars that apparently can help your missiles not suck ass. There's ICBMs, which are
spam on those radars. Great.
There's ICBM missiles that you launch for an offensive weapon that are incredibly expensive to build. And then there's Metal Marines, which are the name of the game. Yeah, and they take forever too.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's it in a nutshell. Like, on a very basic level, you have three. I think in every mission, or at least the ones I played, there are 3 bases that you get to lay down. So in order for the opponent to win, they have to destroy all 3 of your bases, and in order for you to win, you have to destroy their base or however many bases they have. So I guess that's kind of where the scaling difficulty comes in. Is, you know, the earliest missions, the enemy has 1 base. Once you find it and destroy it, you win the scenario. I only got up to like the 4th one because I got, just spoiler alert, I didn't like this game very much. I mean, not even that it was hard. It's just like it is hard, and then I also just didn't find enjoyment in wanting to put the time in. I mean, you could just like play these missions over and over again, and you know, either get lucky or find a formula that eventually works. But you have an established base, and so does your opponent. Your opponent's established base is much more well outfitted than yours is in general, and they're able to send missiles and Metal Marines at you with far greater frequency.
I found that was kind of the scale. Like, the first mission, you get a lot of AA defenses and stuff like that, so you're pretty well secured as you quote-unquote learn the game. And then as you progress through it, it seems like you get less and less off the hop, and then you're just kind of scrambling to build up. It's almost as if you have to build, 2 AAs, like anti-air missiles, for every one that's going to survive the next attack.
Yeah,
Yeah,
pretty
That's
much.
how I found it. Yeah.
that's not an unreasonable take. And Sam, you're absolutely right when you say that this has a lot of battleships in it. Because what this ultimately boils down to is a game of feeling out the opponent, because you have to literally, so you build up your bases, you build up your weapons, you build up your metal marines, and when you attack the other island, you have absolutely no idea what you're aiming at. There is no indication on their map whatsoever of any installations until you find them. So, you could send over a couple of your missiles, which may or may not get shot down, but in the process, it will basically tell you where stuff is on the island. Much like in battleships, you have to, I don't know, send a missile over to B5 and see if you hit anything, and if you do, then you're on the right track. I guess,
I really like that mechanic. Out of everything in this game, I kind of thought it was neat that you had to figure out where to hit. So it wasn't just like you could spam his base and take him out right away. You had to pluck the island down, hope your missiles made it far enough. Because I'd always aim at the back of the island on the first like
Sure.
whatever of missiles. Hopefully, one or two of them would make it to the back, and that way I could kind of map out the area. But then you have to wait for your missiles to recharge before you can like fire off another volley. And it yeah, I would never send the Marines over on the first trip, because
No.
you get, when you attack, you can fire up to 4 missiles and send up to 3 Marines. So if you know what you're attacking, the Marines will land on the ground and be a more focused attack.
Sure.
If you're smart, you can game that system by taking away some of the defensive stuff, because you're in a specifically sized area. So if you want to take out a couple of the turrets out of the battle, you make sure they're off screen and they won't be in a factor when your metal marines hit the ground and start attacking.
Yeah, I mean, there is a great scope for playing tactically in this game, because when you do find the enemy's installations and what have you, say you're looking at purely just AA cannons. Well, they're by and large going to shoot down most missiles that you send over. But if you get boots on the ground, they're absolutely defenseless against metal marines. Likewise, there are the gun turrets that are on the ground that will mow through your metal marines but can't shoot down missiles. So you kind of get this feeling out, and then sort of like, okay, well, what is in the way of me getting to this thing that I need to attack? And what is the best option that I have for attacking that, but while losing the least amount, on the blowback. So there is a good amount of strategy to this game. The problem with it is it leans perhaps a little too heavily into the fact that you are the underdogs, because fuck me, you are definitely the underdog in this game as the game goes on. And I get it. It's doing that whole rebels versus the empire thing. You're never going to be on the front foot. But you were not kidding when you say that the other team are more than well equipped to just start hammering you right from the get-go.
That's really my problem,
Yeah.
is because like you can have a general plan. I mean, you obviously don't get to go in seeing the lay of the land from your opponent's perspective, but you at least see what you have and what your defenses are to start with, and so you can kind of start to make up a general plan. Like, I want to park bases here, here, and here, and then I want to start building this up. Or I've noticed they gave me 2 metal marines, so I want to make another one right away and upgrade one, or do something like that. And while you're doing all of these things with the controller, mind you, there's a timer, and everything is on a like a countdown almost. There's like a seconds ticking down, and it just seems like every fucking 10 seconds they're able to send a barrage of ICBMs that might, may or may not get through. When they do get through, when you have anti-aircraft pointed at them, it's really freaking frustrating, because they do a pretty wide swath of damage, and then they land. They're like, depending on how the random nature of this game is set up, like, you could potentially be really fucked after like 30 seconds.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And it happened.
Yeah.
It happened any number of times.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's It's very frustrating. That like when I first played the game, I didn't know how to attack. I was kind of learning as I was going along, and I was like, well, the first level is going to be a little bit easier. Maybe they'll guide me along or something like that. Forgetting that, of course, this is the Super Nintendo era where fuck you, learn it from the book. And I did not know how to fight back. I knew there was an attack button, but I didn't know how it worked because I couldn't send anything over. But when you go to the attack menu, all you have is your map, and it has a bunch of letters and the pictures of the Metal Marines on it. I didn't know you actually had to pick the specific M for missile or the Metal Marine to fill up your slots there, and then you had to hit the attack, and then it would send a volley of missiles over, followed by your Metal Marines. It took me getting killed 2 or 3 times to finally jump online and smarten up and watch a video of what to do.
Yeah, I can see how that would be just infinitely fucking confusing to anyone right out of the gate because, and again, I guess it's that whole we should have read the manual thing before we just jumped balls first into this fucking
no.
tactical...
I did.
Oh, go on.
And it still didn't help.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, well, well, there you go then. I mean, because the game does give you quite a lot of different things that you can build to sort of help bolster your troops and whatnot. You can build factories. Was it like the resource centers or something like that, which give you more money? You can get the factories that will allow you to build things quicker. You get energy plants, which obviously give you more energy so that you can send more troops over. It's so disheartening when you've been spending, and these levels can take you a while. It's not inconceivable to spend, I don't know, 40 minutes to an hour on any of these levels. And when you think you're doing well, and all of a sudden the tides turn, they take out all of your infrastructure and all of your weapons, and then they start sending their Metal Marines over, and it's just like, oh, for fuck's sake.
Yeah, and they're going so fast you can't keep up. Like, you can't rebuild.
No.
I suppose your only strategy would either to be you got the dummy base and the dummy unit, and maybe build those and hope to hell that it tricks them long enough that you can, rebuild. But the supply headquarters, which gives you your money, and then the energy plant are absolute necessities.
Oh, God,
so once those are taken out, you're kind of at the mercy of the game because you're fucked.
Yeah.
If you can't make money and you can't make energy, it's game over. You're just waiting for your inevitable death. It's the same thing. Like, if you take out theirs, then you just walk in and wipe them out. It's just a matter of time at that point.
How often were you guys sitting there just watching? Because I think your money goes up like $1 a second. Like, how often were you sitting there just waiting to hit whatever it was? I don't know, like 50.
Yeah.
Well, not even 50, like 15, I think it was, for like a Metal Marine or a missile or something like that, or an AA gun. And you're just waiting for that to tick up. I mean, I played this on emulation and I could fast forward, but it's just like, obviously that fast forwards the enemy as well. So you would literally get hit while you're waiting to build something, and then you would get hit again while that thing is building, so it gets destroyed halfway through construction. You're just like, oh, well, what the fuck do you want?
Right. And so those structures that Brian mentioned, like there's an energy plant, and then there's there's a factory that I think makes things build faster. And then there's whatever money maker freaking building.
Supply headquarters.
Whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So you build any one of those, they're expensive to begin with. So
big time.
I mean, either you use the money that you started with to build one right away and then sacrifice your ability to bolster your defenses at all, or you sit there and wait, and then you're getting attacked while this is all happening. So, if on the off chance that you don't get bombed and lose half of your anti-aircraft guns and are able to put up this fucking factory and get money a little bit faster, then that would get bombed. It's just like, no matter what, like it's like I don't know what to. It's like sweeping around a pile of dirt and not making any ground. It's like, I don't know. It just, I'd go in with a strategy like, oh, I'm gonna go attack heavy because whatever, defending didn't seem to work. And then that fucks you over somehow. And then it's like, well, I'm gonna bolster my defenses and make sure they're extra good so that I can build up my Metal Marines a little bit. And that doesn't work because, I mean, even if you have a row of anti-aircraft guns at the front of your base to try to hit any missiles that are coming across, sometimes they miss. And then when that missile drops, it does like a 9 square block of damage, and it takes out everything in that vicinity. Like it doesn't take out your ground turrets or your metal marines or any of your like some of your buildings are kind of immune to it, but it'll hit the ground and it'll take out all your anti-aircraft in the area. So if you've got a huge massive anti-aircraft and one missile gets through, game over.
Yeah, it definitely can.
Yeah.
I found the best way of getting around things like that is that, you know, I suppose the saving grace is that the enemy forces don't, even though it feels like it sometimes, they don't actually know where your shit is. I feel like the AI is a lot fucking cleverer than I am at times, and I'm sure it cheats. I'm sure it fucking cheats.
Yeah, then there's other times where it's in the back of the island where there's nothing, and it attacks you there like 2 or 3 times in a row. It makes no sense.
Well, and this is it, because I found that, you know, if they start attacking one area where you're building shit, then just throwing up a cursory something cheap in that area every turn or so while you build up everything else elsewhere will kind of keep them locked in on that location, because they think, well, you know, I found this and there's still shit here, so let's keep bombing this area, which by and large gave me enough time to sort of build things elsewhere. And I think that's the key to this game, is to spread out your resources so that at least if they find one area, you've still got another area that you're slowly building up. And again, you know, it's not a guarantee, because sometimes it just feels like this game has just a laser precision fucking map of all of your shit before you've even built it. But yeah, I found that worked most of the time, if not all.
You know what annoys me about building in this game is if there's trees, you cannot build on that block. And that makes no sense. No sense at all that you can't knock over a few trees to build.
You can. You have to pick up it's an extra $5, and you have to select the little bulldozer icon. And also, it's a double punishment because the when you get bombed, it turns those squares kind of a brown color. You can't build over the brown either. So not only do you get absolutely fucked over because they just destroyed a 9 square block radius, you also have to spend money to be able to build on that again.
I just, on what fucking planet, apparently Earth, but on what fucking planet do I have to till the ground, replant grass, and then fucking build over it again? It's just like, you know, they've already done half the work for me. Just let me build on the fucking rubble. No problem.
Well, you definitely have to have the grass there. I mean, it really brings a whole area together.
Right, yeah. The grass that I am literally building an AA gun on top of.
No, I don't know, like, I think my strategy was mostly, like, kind of spam supply headquarters until I was out of money, and then that way I would make more money per second.
You have to.
And then I would start making some factories there to bolster everything else so they would build up quicker. And then I would go to the 2 AAs for every anti-air radar, which helped your missiles hit the incoming things. And then when I had money and time, I would upgrade my front row anti-air to the double missile ones, which gave you twice the chance to hit the incoming missiles. Mm-hmm. And I found that was working for the most part. But as soon as I got put back on my heels, I was done. No matter what I could do. Most of the time I'd get frustrated because it always felt like I was just taking more and more steps backwards. And that's where this game, I wouldn't call it so much a difficulty spike. It's a bullshit spike. Because it's not like you have a chance. They take out your supply headquarters, and for some reason they'd always go after that. I'd spread them out and everything. And they would take out like 2 or 3 of them. Now I'm making half the money I was, and I can't catch up because I don't have enough money to build supply headquarters.
Yeah. And here's another thing. That process that Brian just described can take either 2 minutes or it can take 30 fucking minutes. So by the time, like, say you're going along and you're making some progress, like, you could still get absolutely just fucked after like another an hour of playing a mission, and it's like I don't want to do that again ever.
This game can turn on a dime. Like, you can be having the best run of your entire fucking life, and all it takes is, like you say, all it takes is that first domino to fall, and then buddy, when they take down, so when they take down any of your weapons, your infrastructure, anything like that, you have to be so quick to clear that land and build something else, because if they have just a single spot to land a metal marine in, that can wipe out everything in that area that they can land. Like,
Yeah, and for some reason their metal marines are better than my metal marines, because I had one take out two turrets.
Yeah.
What are they called?
Those turrets like did nothing.
Well, here's the thing.
Yeah, and
did you know
it's like little tickle bullets?
Did you know that you can actually change the metal marines' weapons?
Yes, I found that out on my last playthrough, and then you get the two types of gun. You get the anti-metal marine rifle, and then you get the pod bunker.
I did not know that for the longest time, and like you, I could not figure out why my guys were just doing just basically fuck all.
But the normal gun does 100% damage to marines and 100% damage to the pods, which are the turret guns, where the anti-metal marine does 150% damage to the marine and 50% to the pod, and then of course the pod one does vice versa. And it is another element to strategy, but you really got to think about it, because it's, you're spending more resources on that again.
Yeah. Well, you have to think about where you're landing. It's just like, well, if the enemy's got a huge mix of different things, it doesn't matter what weapon you're going to pick, because there's too much there. If you've got some of those turrets and a few of their metal marines where you land, it's just like, well, it doesn't matter what you pick, you're going to get fucked.
That's where the normal guy comes in.
Well, still, it's...
Yeah.
And then you lose your metal marine. And then, did you find a way to rebuild metal marines without just clearing that square and rebuilding one? Because you get left,
Nope.
you get left with this, I don't know, just dead square that was where your metal marine was chilling out. And it's just like, well, why can't I just build another one in that square? Like, why can't I just...
you can't.
I think
you can't just park one. Like, they're on this little platform, and when you lose a metal marine, the platform is still there. Why can't I just park another one in there?
Don't they rebuild over time?
Well, if they...
I know the missiles come back over time, right? And that's part of what the factory does, is they rebuild stuff. So I always found, like, at the end of, just before we recorded today, I slapped on some cheats there and tried out the ICBM, and I noticed my metal marines, because I had unlimited money, they would come back.
Are you
over time?
Are you kidding me?
No.
Well, for fuck's sake.
Maybe it was just...
Well,
that's bullshit.
I mean,
I did not know that.
I mean, when you're in the middle of a fight, it's like, I don't have time to wait around for them to show back up whenever they damn well please. Like, what?
No, exactly.
So I was like, I need
them now.
Yeah, I was probably actually shooting myself in the foot, because I was like, well, this platform is here and I need a metal marine, so I'm going to delete the platform and put a metal marine there.
That's
I probably
what I
screwed
did.
myself over. Yeah, I probably screwed myself over.
I mean, I'd give that a go if I was ever going to play this again.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, same.
Did you ever use the landmines?
No. Like, maybe
I found them
once.
absolutely useless.
Maybe once,
yeah, I
but
didn't. Yeah.
I'll tell you what. If the run that I used the landmines on was not a run that I successfully completed the mission, so I probably used them once, got absolutely bent over, and then just never used them again.
And my other question is, do you ever take down the jump ship?
Yes.
Yes,
That
I
brings the
actually
metal
no.
marines across.
I think I've actually lost a jump ship. I did not take one down.
Oh,
Yeah, because I've seen so many missiles lobbed at that fucking thing, and never once did I see one crash.
No,
It sucks.
I got in, I tell you what, I took loads of those fucking things down, because for every bad run that you have on this game, like, there were several times where I would come out ahead. There are, with enough persistence and patience, I would build an absolute forest of AA guns complete with radars, and it gets to a point like if you've leveled everything up and you've got enough radars and whatnot, they literally just get smoked in the crossfire, and you're good to build whatever you like behind it. So there were times where I would literally build an entire 3/4 of an island, and it was impenetrable. And from there on out, it was just a case of just taking pot shots and sending Marines over. Like, nothing could get through my wall of AA guns. And I tell you what, when that happened, it's a beautiful thing. Like, and it's one of the few times where I was just like, oh, you know what? Actually, maybe this game isn't such a bitch.
Then the next level starts.
Yeah, well, exactly. Then you have to start all over again from scratch. And let me tell you, like, runs like that are few and far between. Like, and I think I've just struck on perhaps one of my biggest gripes with this game. It's a strategy game, and I know that they do rely on a certain element of luck. But the balance has to be right between luck and strategy. And
yeah, this game could benefit from a timer between you getting attacked and you having time to rebuild, because there is a timer and it counts up, but there is no indication when you're going to get attacked. So you're just going at the will of the AI deciding to attack you. And I've been attacked like twice or 3 times in the span of 30 seconds, and it's frustrating when you're trying to lay something down. You go through that whole attack procedure, and then you see every missile individually coming over, and then the metal marines show up and you have to go through that sequence, and the whole thing takes about maybe 3-4 minutes every time.
Yeah,
that's frustrating. That, and the music sounds like it comes out of Illusion of Gaia, and it bothers me.
I've not played that, so I can't comment. I mean, the music, it was fine. It was just your rousing military music, kind of generic stuff.
No, it's just
but nothing that.
Just that one song, that one track when the attack happens, it just sounds like straight from Illusion of Gaia. That's all I can think about when I hear it.
Tell you what,
that like.
Yeah.
Well, not the but the like when it flips over to the missile flying screen there, and it has that song.
The song. I started to hate that song, like that enemy attacking like little horn or whatever that it would make. Just like, not again.
Oh,
every
for
time.
Fuck's sake. Here we go again. What wonderful shiny new toy that I've just built are you about to just obliterate?
Exactly.
And I tell you what else, where we're talking about the attacking sort of sequence. God, that thing takes a while, doesn't it? It's like firing your missiles over, sending your stuff over. It does this
because it's one at a time. That's what I just said. It takes like 3-4 minutes to go through the whole process.
Yeah, I appreciate that you need to do something to show that you're attacking, they're attacking, but each missile is like given its own, not cutscene, but kinda. And you just have to watch this play out, and it's very slowly making its way across the ocean. It's nearly to the other island. Oh, it's been shot down.
What's really frustrating is when you attack them and they knock down 4 out of 4 missiles, and then they attack you and you get 0 out of 4.
Yep. Well, like I say, when I got into that situation where I was, it's just, I can't even remember what level it was on, but it was fucking beautiful. Just watching them being so, what's the word? Neutered. I was just sitting back and just like, yeah, you can't do fuck all. All your missiles belong to me. And it was a good time, but just far too infrequent. Far too infrequent.
Yeah. I don't know, Sam, do you have anything nice to say about this game?
I mean, there's a decent game there. It's just not balanced,
that's the biggest problem.
I was thinking about this. Like, this would be a really cool. Like, I don't think there was a 2-player on this, because I was thinking like this would be a fun game to like sit across from a friend and play, because it is kind of like Battleship. And then you'd be a little bit more evenly matched and that kind of thing. But I don't think there would be a good way to do this on like a Super Nintendo because you have the same friggin' TV screen. You'd know exactly where everyone's shit is. You're like, okay, close your eyes and turn around because I'm about to
No screen watching.
take my turn. But this would be wouldn't this be kind of a cool mobile game if they could figure out a way to make it not suck?
Yeah, it absolutely.
Yes, if
would.
they can make it not suck, this would be actually a great multiplayer game.
Yeah.
Even then, like, you could have more than just 2 players. Like, if this was more modernized, same mechanics, we'll say, a little bit more balanced, they fix it all up. A multiplayer mode would be really good with this because you are right. It is like Worms on crack.
Mm-hmm.
And you could have more than 2 people. Like, if you had, like, 4 bases, let's say, now you're contacting your buddies, you're making alliances, attack this guy, and we'll duke it out at the end, that kind of crap. I think there's a lot of potential for a great multiplayer inside of this game.
Sure.
Yeah.
It is a good idea. It is a good idea. And you know what else? Like, I really like the look of this game. Like the graphics, the visuals. I mean, they definitely have that Super Nintendo pop. And I like the kind of in-between mission, kind of almost anime style cutscenes that they have there, where you've got whoever the commander or the enemy commander is just talking shit to you, and even though they pop up far too much during a mission, just to tell you, oh, you're doing really badly.
You can toggle that off.
Oh, can you?
Oh, that would.
Yeah, there's an option.
Because that's actually that actually gets really irritating when you just are getting frustrated, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, there's a message from the enemy. It's like, I don't want to hear from that asshole right now. Leave me alone. Let me do what I'm going to do. Yeah. Like, sometimes it could break your train of thought. Like, if you've got a couple of moves planned ahead, like, I want to build this, this, and this over here, it just, like, completely breaks your thought process because you have to sit and watch this.
Yeah, underneath the attack, there's an option, the radio SW, I think it is. You can toggle that to off, and it actually is the radio to the enemy, which I don't know why you would have.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Yeah, you can turn that off, and you don't get interrupted all the time.
The things I don't know about this game could fill a fucking canyon. So I'm sitting there.
Could fill a game manual.
Yeah, ironically enough. So I'm sitting there, and it's just all of a sudden, this fucking cunt just calls me up and starts chirping me while I'm, like, trying to till the ground and plant more grass so I can build anything. And it's just like, dude, like, not fucking now. Like, you know what, why don't you call me when I'm doing well, because then it's satisfying. But no, I did really like the way that those cutscenes looked. Like, I thought they were really colorful and expressive, and
this game looks great for what it's trying to do.
Definitely.
Did you know?
I'm not going to take away anything from the graphics. I mean, the 3/4 top view is just perfect for what they're trying to convey.
Yeah.
This goes a little bit back into gameplay, but did you know that you could actually, when your metal marines touch down and they're on the other side, you can kind of like control them in a way, but I couldn't.
Did not know that.
I could not figure out a good way to do it. So I actually anytime I would take control of one, it would just do the opposite thing I was trying to get it to do, and it would just die. So I just let him go. Like,
I didn't know that either. How the fuck did I? Well, I'll tell you how I beat this game. Little inside baseball as well, because full disclosure, like, one of the difficulty spike in this game, like mission 14, guys, I am so happy that neither of you got to mission 14, because to say there is a difficulty spike, it is fucking vertical, because I could not beat that level for 50 tries. Like, I had to just chuck on like infinite money or what have you just to get past it to see the rest of the game. I'm not ashamed of it. It was ridiculous.
You shouldn't be.
Like, absolutely
ridiculous.
And it was only the one mission, but it was just like, they're absolutely psychic. It didn't matter what I put down, they were on it like, I don't know, something on something. I'm tired.
Flies on shit.
Flies on shit. Why not?
Yeah.
They were on it like Brian on my nudes.
I'd be on it.
Oh man.
It's I could barely get past level 5, so
yeah, I didn't go past
don't
4.
think I'd survive this game.
I kept trying again and again. I was like, I'm gonna give this one another shot. Like maybe I just didn't play it right or whatever. Every time I would try to play it again, I would just get pissed off. I'd be like, this is just isn't fun anymore. Yeah. So no, I did not get. Yeah, not even to 14. I didn't get past 4. And it's not for lack of trying. If I would have kept trying, I would have definitely gotten further in the game. It just wasn't fun.
No, and as well, I don't think this is really the kind of game that you can rush for a podcast. It's
No.
You are gonna fail on these missions, and you are gonna sort of have to figure out. And I suppose on subsequent playthroughs, you would know, because some of these levels you have to play 50 times, you would know where those enemy installations are, because I don't think it ever changes. It's just that once you know, and maybe back in the day you draw out a map of their island and sort of mark down. I mean, this is a game that you could conceivably like get your graph paper out and just mark down, well, I know there's I know there's missiles there, I know they've got this here, I know their base is over here, and like that would make your next playthroughs easier to strategize.
Well, that would have helped, because my fucking goldfish brain, I would attack a spot and clear it, and then I'd go to the same square, because I was like, that's a square or two beyond where I was, and it wasn't. I would just land. I would waste energy landing metal marines in an empty space, and then it would just be like clear. And I was like, yeah, thanks, guys.
Oh, well, great. Couldn't you not just salt the earth or something? Just make it worth my while.
Yeah, I don't know. Can you at least take a dump over there?
Yeah, do it. Might cost you less energy to get back if you're not laden down with all of that poop.
It would almost have been better if like you could send them, if the metal marines landed in an empty spot, could they at least like scorch the ground so that they have to clear it, or do something like detrimental to their cause? Like do nothing. Oh yeah, salt the earth. There you go. Yeah, that's it. I missed that.
Just be spiteful. Play ugly.
Yeah, can you just put sugar in their gas tank? Do something.
That's it.
All right. I think we've thoroughly shit on this game. Is there anything else you guys want to bring up? Because it's not a very in-depth game.
No, I guess
it's not.
The loop is very simple. You start a map, you play Battleship with the bad guy while he fucks over your entire structures. Then you repeat that until one of you wins, and then you move on to the next level and you repeat it again. So this is not going to be a long episode, and I think we're at the point where we're ready to wrap up.
Yeah.
Are you guys ready to wrap up?
Yeah, I think we can.
One last quick thing is I didn't realize that they did re-release this on the Wii and the Wii U, like the Virtual Console when that was out. So I wonder if eventually we'd ever see this on. I mean, there's really no reason why they couldn't throw it on Switch Online.
It's made by Namco, so it's if Namco wants to play ball with Nintendo Switch Online.
Whatever. What else are you doing with this piece of shit?
Putting it in the Namco Museum collection. Duh.
Yeah, I guess do that.
Because the Switch is touchscreen. Would this game not make a lot more sense on something that you could have a touchscreen, like a tablet or a Switch or something like that? That would be so much.
Of course, it would make more sense.
That would be so much easier.
Yeah, like a re-release or like a I don't know, remake or a up-res version or quality of life improvement version. Yeah. I mean, I'd play it. I'd try it.
Yeah.
Yeah, just fix the balancing, and then I think this actually would be a pretty good game.
Yeah.
But Sam, do you want to summarize your thoughts? You seem to have a good head of steam going here.
This was just I don't know. Imagine playing a game of Battleship against a friend where your friend gets to take 2 or 3 turns every time you take one. That's about as fun as this game is. I don't know. What's to say that I haven't said already? Like you build shit, they knock it down. I mean, there's ways around it, but like I said, if you go in there with any kind of strategy, it's not going to matter necessarily. Like it could work. It probably won't though, because for whatever reason, like something you're not anticipating happening will randomly happen. You can set up all the anti-aircraft you want and radars, but if one slips through, it's gonna just I think that's part of the issue is like one missile getting through does just way too much damage. Um, it just, oh God, I'm like losing my own train of thought trying to decide how I want to approach this. Like, there's a good game here, and I think it would have been fun. Like I mentioned, like make it a mobile game and make it a little more fair to play. Um, I just playing this game, like I don't appreciate like always like this is in the real time strategy category, and like a game like StarCraft or Warcraft, like yeah, the enemy is usually much more well ensconced than you are, and that's part of the challenge is to build up your defenses and resources enough to overcome that and complete your objectives. And this game doesn't really allow you to do that, which is makes it really just not fun. I mean, you should at least have a sporting chance with the first few missions without having to like play it over and over and over again just to kind of either get lucky or figure out a way. Like the missions that I did beat, like I was barely scraping by, and it's like the game just made me feel stupid, and like I don't appreciate that's not fun. Like I don't know. I didn't like it. I wanted to like it. I was really excited to play it, and it was just like this might be the biggest letdown of any game that we've played for the show, and that includes like an Animaniacs. Like I was expecting that to not be good. This I was like, you know what? This looks like a really fun game that I'm gonna enjoy, and it was just like such a kick to the nuts. This is like a 3. I mean, concept is great, graphics are great. Just falls short. 100% falls short.
3 out of 10 from Sam, bringing it in hot.
Super hot.
Attacking before Alan had a chance to even build up his opinion. Alan, do you want to go
That's
next?
it. You've completely destroyed my supply HQ. I'm not the expert on real-time strategies. I've not played many of them. You know, this was not necessarily what I was expecting from a real-time strategy. You know, that comparison to battleships is well earned, I feel, because there is no real building up of armies, moving troops across a map, which is exactly what I was expecting. That being said, I don't think this is necessarily a bad concept. You know, more militarized than battleships already is. You know, it's basically taken that concept to the next level. The game looks great. You know, I really love the way it's presented. You know, I love that it has a lot of character and a lot of personality in all of those little cutscenes and what have you. It's just, as you say, it's that balancing issue. It's a game like StarCraft, like Command and Conquer. You know, you have a good amount of time to build up your resources and build up your army and what have you, and focus on how you want to build your side. Now, whether or not you've done that right, all comes to a head when you see that other army hove into view out of the fog of war, and it's just like, well, now it's time to see if I've planned this well. This game does not give you the chance to do that. You know, it is on you right from the hop. And yes, as I said, I get that this is an underdog story. This is the rebels fighting against a much more entrenched and well-funded and well-armed empire. Fine, I get that. But, you know, I'm not here necessarily for that level of realism. You know, give me at least a fucking chance here. I did genuinely enjoy this game when I started playing it, because, you know, those first few levels are reasonable, if not, there is some cheap to it, but that really comes to a head later on in the game, and this game just gets to be a slog. You know, I get that if this was the only game that you had, you would play these missions over and over again. And that's something that I didn't mention that I did really like about this game. So as I said, I emulated it. I played this game on my phone, which, again, is a really good way to play this game. But the password system on this game, 4 letters. 4 letters, 1 password, yeet. It's perfect. You know, it's just It gets an extra point for having a short, simple. I'm playing Mystical Ninja or whatever at the moment, and that password is like 30 characters long. And oh, buddy, oh, those piss me off. Still, where was I going with this? I don't know. I guess I'll put a score on it. I didn't hate it as much as you, Sam. I'm probably gonna come in at around about a 5 out of 10. You know, I don't think it's necessarily without merit, but then again, I don't think it's good. I think it's just right there in the middle. It's just mid. Probably won't play it again. Some things I like. It's about even of things I liked to things I didn't. So there we go.
5 out of 10 from Alan. Woof.
Woof.
All right,
From me.
I guess I'll wrap it all up here and finalize the scoring. But there's a good game in this terrible game. When you're having fun with this game, when everything's going well, and you're in a good, I guess, build / attack / defense cycle, it is a fun game. It's just the second that you get put on your heels, where all the fun disappears, because it's not like something where you can come back from, especially like further you go in the game. Alan, you said level 14 was almost unbeatable. Well, level 5 was almost unbeatable for me. So that learning curve is a learning cliff. And that's where this game has a lot of its problems. I imagine back in the day when this was the format of real-time strategy games, maybe it would have been something that would have been a little easier to learn, but it's just that cycle of you get to attack your first turn because you get like 3 missiles there, and then you just kind of plot the land. That's all you're doing with your missiles on your first turn, is plotting the land so you can kind of come up with a strategy. All while at the same time trying to build fast enough so that when you get attacked, you have enough resources spread out that they won't blow them all up, and you will still have like an income coming in, so you can continue to build more weapons and stuff like that. And this is where the fun of the game is. Where it really, really fails is how often you get attacked. And at the beginning of the game, you get a lot of resources given to you. Like there's a lot of bases and materials already set up. But as you progress, it becomes less and less and less. And I really would have loved to see some sort of carryover for your next mission. Like, say you could take 10% of what you built or some number like that, so that you could have a couple of extra supply headquarters already set up on your next map, so you have some sort of benefit. The reason the password is so short is because every time you start a new mission, you're starting at ground zero again with a standard loadout. So it's not like your password is doing anything but putting you at that mission, because there is nothing you get to keep when you're done fighting. And that kind of sucks, because there's no reward to killing the enemy besides getting to play it all over again and start from scratch. Music in this game, like I said, that one song reminds me of Illusion of Gaia. That's not a bad thing, because I really like that game. I'm with Sam on that missile alert warning thing. Gets kind of tedious after a while and makes you want to put your controller through the screen. But we're adults, we're not do that because we don't have the money to replace the TV. Other than that, everything about this game is exactly what Alan said. It's a very mid game. I'm going to agree with him on this. I'm going to go 5 out of 10 because I did actually have some fun with it for a little while, and then all of a sudden, everything started going wrong. I think it gets most of its points from the graphics and the sound and kind of the fun of building when you're not getting screwed over. So outside of that, this game is not something I'll ever play again for sure. But it is definitely something I'm glad I played once.
There you go.
Yes.
The votes are in. We have, I think we've destroyed all of this game's resources.
I think this can take 1 extra point for the password system being 4 letters.
Yeah.
You bump that up to a 4, Sam?
Yeah, take a 4. There you go.
There you go.
And that's super generous. All right, that is another episode of Retrotopia. I normally do this part, but Alan, where can they find us?
Well, you can find us every Sunday wherever you listen to your podcasts, unless, of course, you are a Patreon, in which case you can listen to us every Friday on Patreon. And you can find not only our Patreon, you can find our Instagram, our Dashery, TeePublic, whatever other socials that we have over at linktree/retrotopia. That's linktr.ee/retrotopia. Come and have a chat with us. Come and join our Discord. Come and let us know what you think.
Excellent. Little secret, inside baseball, as Alan would say. You can actually get the episode Friday if you look up on Spotify Retrotopia Expansion Pass, because I put the episode out to the public because, well, it's a lot easier to do that. So it is actually available on Friday. It goes out on the other feed on Sunday. So if you want to get it a bit early, you can.
Oh.
And you don't even have to sign up to the Patreon.
Oh, well, I've learned something today. I was not aware of this.
Oh, yes, sir. Yes,
Well,
sir.
there we
The
go.
only thing is you're going to see all the shows, and half of them will be locked if you're not in the Patreon.
Well,
Actually, I think they're all locked if you're not at the paid tier. That's kind of the slap in the dick that is Spotify.
well, maybe I should have read the Retrotopia manual before I started talking.
By the time you got into it, I've already would have attacked.
No, true enough. Listen, till next time, guys, we're easier to find than all of my fucking ammunition and rockets, what have you. Yeah, come and destroy us. Why not? Hi there, everyone. We here at Retrotopia couldn't do what we do without the support of our Patreons. And to that effect, we would like to shout out our heroes at the hero tier. So a huge Retrotopia thank you from all of the hosts here to Andrew Wright, Wildcard, Unbuckled Cape, Makeshift Money, Sergeant Ombre, Randy Berridge, BCOS19, J Nasty 15, Chris Kaplane, Jack Datchler, Sir Busts-A-Lot, Big Kid 782, Super Dave, Big Brown Dog, Studstill Smash, Fallen Snow Kiku, Radmac, Calin Hygus, Old Man Gamer, Raging Demon, Radioactive Hooli, Blue Shell Discharge, The Big Deal, Dylan Jacobson, Game Genius, H, Brother Retro, JVDZ, Shane's World, Ovindley, Zane Donovan, and Brian Speltzer. So thanks as always for your support, guys. It truly means the world to us and means we can keep doing this little thing that we love so much. Game on.